Hey guys, I bet you're excited for this one because it's the Siege Seeker mold. Again, it's Thundercracker. I know. We've looked at them time and time again. Everybody's looked at this time and time again. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. And we're going to focus more on what I did to kind of customize this guy. And due to a kind of request, I'll quickly kind of show the Rainmakers up a little bit closer than I did in their actual review because I was asked to do so. We're gonna not really focus on transformations. I've already looked at the conversion from robot to Tetrajet with Starscream. I've already looked at the conversion from robot back to Tetrajet, no, from Tetrajet back to robot with Skywarp, so we're not really going to do that. We'll quickly look at the articulation, but for the most part, it's a chance to see what I did to sort of bring out a little more G1 goodness for this guy, and we'll see the whole crew together in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, man, please hit that notification bell because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up on the channel. Everything from stop motions to countdowns to customizing tutorials to reviews like these and everything in between. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and the Autobot family. And this is Siege Thundercracker. It's strange. Usually this guy is one of the easiest to get, and like he's pretty much the last one for me to get this time around. But I'm happy with it. Now, of course, he had battle damage all over him that I wanted to deal with. And of course, a lot of people have made the argument that he's the same thing as Ion Storm from the Rainmakers trio. Dealing with the battle damage and kind of the paint applications on this guy was tricky because he's a really odd blue color and he is not the same blue color as Ion Storm. We're going to take a closer look at all of those color variations, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how I color match this blue when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this lad. And of course, here we have the packaging, the instructions, and the figure of Thundercracker himself, and we're gonna go through this pretty darn quickly today by looking at the packaging first. And it's your basic Siege packaging. It's interesting, he's holding his null ray like a cannon over here. Typical image of Siege on this side, product images on the back that we've gotten used to seeing, and here we have the typical Siege instructions, and they're nice. They're secret instructions, and the ever-powerful null ray stats. Which leads us to my overall Tetrajet display for the Seekers. I love this. I know what you're thinking. Where's Red Wing? As far as I know, he is not yet. He has not yet and may not be getting a release in my country. Nevertheless, these are the main ones, and I love how this looks. Even if the battle damage is the exact same on all of them, they could have varied that up just a little bit. As for the main trio, here's the main trio that we all know, and I have the wings slightly flayed out. I know what you're thinking. Hey, if you're gonna flail out the wings, why don't you just get the Earthrise versions? They're already doing Starscream. Surely they will do Skywarp and Thundercracker. And while I do like those plane modes, I'm not sold on the alt modes, or the robot modes, I mean. The plane modes look great. The robot modes, I feel like these look more accurate in robot mode, but that's just me. As well, I wanted to draw attention to these two guys. One of them is Ion Storm from the Rainmakers trio, and the other, of course, is Thundercracker, the focus of this review, and the blue on them is actually significantly different. The blue on Ion Storm is kind of like a true blue. The blue that's on Thundercracker is it's almost like it has a bit of a tinge of something else to it. It is very similar, if not the exact same, as the blue that is on the arms of Starscream. And like it's blue, but it's almost like it has a, I don't know, a green tinge. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the two blues are coming across here right now on camera, but I can tell you that they are actually significantly different. And in terms of being an alt mode Tetrajet, it's a fine Thundercracker. Now we're not going to do the transformation. We're just going to give the scores after the fact. So we're going to be able to go from these two guys being in their Tetrajet mode to these two guys being in their fantastic robot modes. And yes, they are significantly different. I mean, the chest and pelvis of and pylons of Thundercracker are like a grayish color. His lower legs have that black section. The forearms and hands are black. I mean, even if you look at the like midriff of both guys, the midriff of Ion Storm is white, as where it's blue on Thundercracker. So they are actually significantly different. Even the blues are not the same sort of blue, regardless of kind of how it looks here on camera. Now, I was asked to kind of show the Rainmakers up close. I already discussed what I did with their actual paint applications, but nevertheless, I will like give a very brief kind of quick look at them before we talk about the bot of the hour, the one that we're focusing on, of course, being Thundercracker and everything that I did with him. So matching the blue on Ion Storm was a little bit tricky. He is kind of a true blue. And this was the closest paint match that I could find. Now that being said, I feel like on camera it looks more off than it does in hand. In hand it's actually quite close. And really I added it to his chest, his forearms, and his legs. Like I said here, from what I can see on camera right now, it looks like it's not a great color match, but it actually is in hand. For the wings, I used a toothpick and done the white. And the red, I just had a bright red. And I just painted the whole thing with bright. Actually, I think on this guy I used Tuscan red. But there's Ion Storm. We will do Nova Storm next. And yellow is a difficult color to work with a match. I tried 6 as I explained in the review. Again, shins, forearms, chest. This guy actually has a couple of different color plastics as well, so it made it that much more challenging. The wings, again, Tuscan red, and the white was done with a toothpick and gloss white paint. And finally for the Rainmakers, and we will round things out here with Acid Storm. And I talked in the Rainmaker review about warm and cool neons. This guy needs a warm neon. And like, I'm happy with the way it turned out. It's hard to find a warm neon. In terms of the wing detailing, it's exactly the same as it was on the other two Rainmakers. Now that we've taken a look at that, let's talk about the guy that we're all here to talk about, Thundercracker. The very first thing worth noting is the smirk that he has, and while everyone has changed this head out with Starscream, I think it matches Thundercracker more. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why people would change the head out with Starscream. It makes sense to me. But I also know that sometimes Starscream just has a look of disgust on his face, and it will often be Thundercracker who will pipe up with some sort of a sarcastic comment directed towards Starscream. So I think the smirk is more him smirking at Starscream. That's how I interpret it. But nevertheless, the two halves of the head, I believe, are just held together with a screw. By all means, unscrew it, change out the faces. I'm not going to do it because I'm happy the way it is, but I can certainly understand why someone would. And in terms of Thundercracker, I'm going to say that overall his paint apps are, I'm going to say a solid 9. Now, one might argue and say that the blue that's on the legs right now, hey, that's not a perfect match. Actually, to the naked eye, it is, regardless of how it's sort of showing up on camera. And it's really hard to match because the blue on him is kind of like the blue on the forearms and hands of Starscream. It's a weird, almost like sea foamy blue, or like there's a slightly tealy tinge to it or something. It's a weird blue. And the closest that I could come up with to mix it would be a Coastal Littoral. It was a satin finish made by like Martha Stewart Paints, and I mixed that with a Craft Smart Blue outdoor acrylic paint, and more of the Coastal Littoral than the kind of outdoor blue. It's not called outdoor blue, like it's an outdoor acrylic paint. It's called blue. It's darker than say the gloss blue. And I mixed that together and I put it on his shins. The chest is just a mix of gloss white and graphite. And, well, black, of course, used on the forearms and this lower section down here. So I'm going to say a 9. In terms of the transformation, all of them are at 8.5. Really, he's at 8.5. Couple of little fiddly points, but nothing that's, you know, too bad. Just a couple of things that might, you know, annoy you ever so slightly with this mold in general, but certainly nothing bad. It's well done. In terms of the articulation, we've seen the articulation for these guys before. Nothing different here. The wings, of course, they can go back and up, and the head can go left and right, and the arms can go well out to the side, and super duper deep. Elbow bend, bicep swivel, wrist swivel. If you get the wing out of the way, the arm can go all the way around. Head up, down, left, right. This guy has a waist as well. If we, you know, come down here, we can kick all the way forward. We can kick all the way back. I love the spring-loaded piece on the back of his leg. It gives him a super duper deep knee. We have ankle tilt, we have toe tilt, we have heel tilt, and in terms of like ability to do the splits for this mold, if you didn't already know, it is fantastic, super-y, duper-y. Look, here's the bottom line. The overall score for this mold, just like it's been for all of the other Seeker molds, is somewhere around like 8.5 or 9, 9.5. Like, it's a high scoring mold. It looks like the character. It embodies the character. It's a beautiful silhouette of a robot. It is a nice Tetrajet. You can even flare out the wings to give it that kind of just more plainish sort of look to it. And I'm not going to do the regular guilty or innocent like I always do, because honestly, the guy is definitely going to be innocent. The rest of them have been. And for me personally, honestly, nothing beats a Seeker display that looks as colorful and as glorious as this. Overall, I have to say that I love Thundercracker as much as I love all of them. For the rest, I've given overall score of about a 9, 9.5. Thundercracker, the exact same thing. No mold degradation. Here's the thing. None of these guys have mold degradation, other than a couple of them having slightly looser null rays, but none of them have badly tolerance null rays, though I have heard tell of people with them. I'm kind of surprised that we've gotten this many uses this fast and that some of these aren't in worse shape than others. It's a testament to kind of how well these are made. Normally at this point I would say guilty or innocent for Skywarp. I'm not even going to waste your time, because guess what? All of these guys have been innocent, and Thundercracker, I'm sorry, I was going to say guilty or innocent for Thundercracker, not Skywarp. But all of these guys have been innocent, and guess what? Thundercracker's no different. He is absolutely, positively innocent. And here we are once again, and I know if you're anything like me, you're almost getting Seekered out, but I feel like that this mold now has pretty much reached the kind of, I'm not going to say the end of its life, because I'm sure it could be used again, but the end of its logical life. Like, yes, you could make Hot Link, and you could make Sunstorm, and this one and that one. And indeed, I'm sure they would all turn out quite good, but for kind of a logical use, and without kind of making the mold just tiresome, I feel like we've sort of, you know, reached the limit. A lot of people have said that they would have liked to have seen cone heads done with this mold. I don't think so. It's not like the cone heads. They have differences to them. The main body, yes, but the way the wings aren't like this, and I don't really think it would have worked for them. I would think that the new Earthrise mold will work quite well for the cone heads, and I'll be very excited to see if we get that use, because I don't know if I'm in for, say, the Starscream, but you take that, you tweak it, you make it a cone head. I could see getting that mold as a trio of cone heads and being really super happy with it, and I think they'd look fantastic with these. In terms of this guy here, no tolerance issues, no degradation of the mold. Like I said, no nothing. He is pretty fantastic and solid. Matching that blue was a bit brutal, but I think it worked out very well. Black is pretty easy. And the chest, again, I think it worked out pretty well. I'm quite happy with this guy. Now, the head sculpt, I didn't change it out because more than Starscream kind of having a smirk on his face, though I understand why he would, I kind of see it more as Starscream has disdain, a look of disdain, and Thundercracker's probably making some sort of snide comment that Starscream doesn't like, and therefore has the smirk on his face, because he's kind of making fun of Starscream. I think it makes sense for Thundercracker, but that's just me, you know? Either way, I find it strange that he's the only one that has that smirk. I don't know. Nevertheless, I'm happy with him. I love this mold. I'm glad to have my Seeker Squadron. Are we ever going to get Red Wing around here? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with the display that I have now for my Rainmakers and my main Seeker trio. Let me know what you think about Thundercracker. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Do you like the battle damage on him? Would you like to mitigate it like I did? You know, I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget there is a donate link down in the description. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so, as it helps me out so very, very much. And as always, don't forget that in some way, somehow, each and every day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or right here inside the videos.